more or less. It's an old non-profit festival which brings a lot of people together and works a lot with the volunteers and the social economic way. But maybe you could just put a few words on that, Peter.
Well, you almost said it all.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Don't worry. Yeah, my name is Peter. I work here in Jelling. I used to live in Jelling. I live in Vejle. Yeah, we have a music festival. About 40,000 people comes every year to join us, will all come to commit to be a part of this culture festival, music festival. Yeah, we have around almost 7,000 volunteers that help us with the festival. They are typical locals, local volunteers from all around the Vejle area. And come and give a part of themselves to be a part of this festival, to build it up, and be behind the bar, build the stages, build the fence, and then afterwards take it all down again. So, around.
How the idea of the festival came?
Excuse
How
me?
the idea came? Why?
Well,
Now I'm interested if you have the same story the mayor has. Go ahead.
Because the mayor has a story.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, the mayor.
So what did the mayor say?
I don't know.
No, you don't know.
Maybe you don't know what the mayor
No,
said.
sorry. Okay, I mean, it all began in a locker room at our local sports
Football club.
Football club, yeah.
Is it true until now?
Yeah, it's true.
No, but is it according to...
So far it's the same as
So
the
far
mayor
it's
says, yeah.
Yeah.
But he might be the one who's wrong and Peter's the one who's right.
No, the mayor is always wrong.
Of course he is, of course he is.
He's the mayor, yeah.
No, and they were sitting there enjoying a beer after a game probably, and they were talking about how to raise money to the local football team, the local football club. And well, they were talking about if they had to go and sell some postcards or go around and ask for money in the locals.
Lottery.
Yeah, lottery. Yeah, exactly. Well, and then one of them said that in Roskilde they had a festival that was raising money for all the local sports clubs and so on. Yeah. So say if they can do it in Roskilde, we can do it in Jelling. And so they did.
You are at least as talented.
Roskilde became really famous.
Yeah, Roskilde is one of the biggest festivals in Northern Europe. Yeah.
Even in Europe, I think.
Yeah,
Roskilde Festival now today.
Yeah. So.
And the first festival was in 1989.
Yeah, and
1989.
at the local sports area at our local school, just over there behind the house.
And how is the football team doing?
Very good, but economically not very good.
But also they're very low ranked.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not like, because it's the local football club here in Jelling. The football club in Vejle is in the first division the top division in Denmark.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
But
who
not
is your biggest...
but they're on the last place with only 1 point in 6 or 7
It
games.
doesn't matter.
11 games actually, but don't speak about it.
Don't talk about it to anybody. No, don't tell
But
about it when you come
that's
home.
an amateur club now.
Yeah,
Is it?
Yelling is.
Yeah.
Okay, is it the same story you know?
It is very true. I know all the guys who started the festival. I've been playing football with them a long time ago.
It's funny because the mayor tells that story when we do the welcome trip because he lives in this area. He's a farmer out here, so he also he normally also says, "I know everyone here."
Yeah.
His wife works at the museum, so so
it's a small community,
it's a
right,
very small
around here.
area.
Yeah.
And this is a town where everybody knows each other. We talked about that a bit earlier.
Jelling was an independent municipality until 2007.
Yeah, it was its own.
Yeah, there was a reform.
Vejle is 5 municipalities put together in 2007.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
So
Jelling.
Vejle
There was
become
was a reform at that time. Well, the number of municipalities was reduced from 272 to 98.
So.
But I think we should also introduce Seville, because
Definitely.
as you just in Vejle, you met 6 people, right? And I did the same PR out here, and luckily I already know Seville from my job. From also, she used to work in Odense with their international community, but now at Lego. And therefore chose to live out here. So I was so happy when because it's Friday and it's, people are working. I know she's, but luckily as it's this time, you said yes.
Yes, I can just say a quick hello to all. I'm Juvila, originally from Lithuania actually, and moved to Denmark now 10 years ago. So this summer celebrated 10 years anniversary in Denmark, and just 1st of October 3 years in Jelling. So. Me and my family, we used to live in Odense, the city that I believe you visited or are about to visit. And then as our family started growing, we thought, where should we settle down? Also to be maybe closer to my partner's jobs opportunities, and now therefore my job at the Lego Group as well. So we moved to Jelling as an international couple 3 years ago, and we were exploring different areas of Vejle, but I believe you've mentioned already about the community in here and people knowing each other, and us as coming from abroad and not having family in Denmark, really it was really important to find a place where we could find our roots and quickly meet our people or connect to someone. So that was also one of the reasons why Jelling landed on our top list, so like for the community, for all the different clubs and associations that are there, starting for kids and then also adults alike. We also thought, well, if the mayor lives here, that might also be a nice place to stay.
Not a disadvantage.
So how can I say, how in a really tiny, a small settlement like Jelling, how do you perceive the EU? What do you think that is it a good thing to be a member of the European Union? Denmark is not member of the Eurozone, but you are a member of the Schengen area. You could move freely here because of the EU, but what is the image here among local people of the EU?
Don't worry, this is an official question. Otherwise, we are normal people.
Oh, that question you have to ask, yeah.
I would like to answer the question. I think it's very important for a small village like Jelling that the Danish nation is a part of the European Union, because it attracts a lot of expats to the area, because we have big international companies, and some of the expats settle down in Jelling, in fact, and also in Vejle, of course, and other places. But Billund, where Lego is placed, is not that attractive to the expats, apparently. So they come here, and also when you have a museum like the monument area in the Cohesion, it's very important that you get a big amount of people through over the year. The museum was built originally at the millennium, and then from 2013 to 2015 it was closed and rebuilt, expanded, whole new exhibition. And before that, a good tourist year in Jelling was 25,000 visitors. Now it's about 10 times that after the expansion. So, and now we are also, the museum is a part of the national Danish museum. So in that character, it's very important for a small town like Jelling, where we have to live from tourism now. Because
do you have a hotel, or how can I?
No, I've been working on it the past 8 years, but right now the interests are too high, and you can get much too good interests in the bank. So if you have enough money, you can get 3% every year of your money in the bank. And this is a risk to build a hotel in Jelling. So that's why there are no investors who would like to build a hotel. But I have a good friend who we made a project, and we're talking to, I think, 20 investors. And they all think it's a very good idea, but they don't want to do it.
But we should write a letter to the mayor.
Oh, the mayor is very positive.
We came here and we couldn't stay.
The political system is very positive for a hotel in Jelling. It's not that, but you have to find a private investor.
Someone who wants to go.
And I think if to add, if you would have been visited like a month or 2 months ago and walk around the city, you would clearly notice that a lot of the tourism that comes to Jelling and Vejle area are also tourists with the campers, tourists with cars. So there is also a lot of camper tourism around.
We have
There's a
two
local camper
quite
spot.
big camping sites.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of bed and breakfasts, Airbnb. There's a hostel. There's because we have like the Camino, this pilgrims path, and there's a route through Jutland called Herveien, or in German the Ochsenweg, and the people walking there can then sleep in the hostels or other places. A lot of shelters around in the area as well. So over the past years after the pandemic, there's been an increasing number in people walking, going hiking in the nature and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different kinds of tourism in Jelling. We also have a very beautiful golf course lying down to the valley of the one of the small creeks that run out to the fjord. And we have a lot of biking tourism as well. In 2022, the Tour de France had the Grand Départ in Denmark, and there was a stage beginning in Vejle, and they went through Jelling that day. At that day, there were about the same number as at the festival, as guests here in the area. It was very, very special and very, very beautiful. And the best thing was it was good weather. It was not like today. So the weather was perfect, and it was a perfect day.
There's a rainbow there.
But remember when
Exactly.
you asked, when you invited asked James, are you happy here? And he said, well, in weather like this, because it was still sunny at the time in Vejle. So, yeah.
I had a couple, an American couple, visiting last Sunday, I think, and they had moved here about 1.5 weeks before. They came a Thursday where it was kind of okay weather, but on the Friday it was pouring down all day, and it was like in Esbjerg, one of the biggest cities in Jutland, they got 145 millimeters in one day.
That's a lot of them.
And that's a lot of Denmark, and it's the most they ever had since they began measuring. So we get a lot of rain in Denmark. But also we can have very good days, and it's very changeable. And the 4 seasons of over the year, spring, summer, autumn, and winter, are very distinct differently. Although the winters have become much more rainy than snowy. So global heating has also had an impact here in Denmark.
So they don't come because of the weather, but they come because of the beautiful woman.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people find Denmark small, cozy, and beautiful. Especially in the springtime, Denmark's very, very beautiful. All slightly green blossoms in the trees and bushes and stuff like that. Sometimes very beautiful sunny days. And also when the autumn comes, you have the leaves on the trees becomes yellow and red and falls off. So the changing of the seasons have a great impact on the way that we live here in Denmark and how we yeah. So Denmark it can be a very beautiful place, and also just dress for the weather. Buy a raincoat and some very good rubber boots.
But there is no bad weather, only badly dressed people.
Yeah.
Just around
Just wrong clothes, yeah.
That's the famous, I mean, everybody knows it. Actually, the Swedish claims also that that's a Swedish saying. But,
Yeah.
Scandinavian.
I think it's Scandinavian.
Yeah, it's a Nordic, whatever.
And a lot of
also-
umbrellas in Great Britain.
Yeah.
They also claim that all Danes have that one suit thing that as a grown up, you know, the flyverdragt as
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
grown up, and all Danes have a raincoat. I'm like, no.
No, the young people.
You're not catching me dead in those things.
I just had a couple of weeks ago. I had visitors from a group from another place, gentleman that was here visiting. They are about to get the confirmation in the springtime, and the young girls there, and they were they're like 13, 14, and they come in their small shoes and crop tops, and it was raining and blowing and everything, and I thought, okay. And I talked to the bus driver, and he said, well, I've been driving on people on skiing, and then there comes this young woman in high heels and a crop top, and he says, are we going the same place? but that's how it is for some people. But most people living in the countryside, you learn very quickly to have the proper clothing.
Yeah.
Rubber boots are very good in Denmark.
You mentioned that you have 7,000 volunteers, which is a huge number. I mean, and we came in Germany. We came from northern Germany, and that was also raised, if you remember, in the international. I mean, in a NGO. We went to an NGO, and they said sometimes it's not so easy to convince locals to commit time and make a long-term commitment for certain issues.
Yeah.
You don't have this problem?
We have the same issues in Denmark. Yeah, we have a long tradition in Denmark with all the
volunteering.
with the volunteering in culture, in sports, and so on. So it's a long tradition, but the tradition is changing at the moment. For our festival, it's quite easy because it's a short term. That's a short term volunteer, and there's a party, and you will get
there's beer.
And you get to go to the festival for free.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. I mean, it's not you're not sitting in an office and filling out forms.
Exactly. So we have the same experience here, and we talk a lot about how to deal with it in the
future.
Also because there's also been from the public governments locally and other places that they would like volunteers to take part in some of the things about, for instance, elderly. Maybe escorting elderly out into the open. So there are a lot of volunteers on the nursery home, I would call it here.
But the change is also that people won't, because it's as Peter says, in sport it used to be like if I think young people don't realize that their soccer or football trainer don't get paid. It's a long tradition, but people are changing. They don't want to commit to being the football trainer for the next 10 years. But coming for 4 days to the Jelling festival or bake a cake for a school thing, something where it's like it's
One
these
night,
hours,
yeah,
yes,
you know
this afternoon or this night. But the
very
next
easy.
10 years, yeah.
And also that in the festival you will involve the associations to recruit their own volunteers as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's
But still
it's community
7,000. I mean,
But there's
I do
also
this
a-
stuff, and 7,000.
It's a lot of people.
There's a good carrot at the end of the pole because when you come and work voluntarily on the festival for 6 hours, you get a full ticket for the whole festival, and then you get a T-shirt with the logo and stuff like that. So there's
It's
something.
good for once, but for the 10th time that I do get.
No. There are people coming every year to
Every year?
say, yeah.
Oh, it's good.
I've been doing a lot of voluntary jobs for the festival earlier. I've been.
Yeah.
But I understand that you are not a normal Danish. I just realized that you are not a typical Danish. All the
Thank
story
you.
about
You noticed. A lot of people noticed
You
that.
are
There's
not
no
the average
ordinary in
Dane.
here.
You are not the average Dane.
No.
That's very clear.
I think none of the Danes in the room are average Danes.
We are touching a bit the really important thing in Danish culture, I think, and also in the small cultures, the association culture and the volunteering culture. And because by the end of the year, Jelling Music Festival, they're handing out €500,000 or that's
4 million kroner this year.
something like that. 500, and it has even been higher once.
Yeah, last year we were over 1 million.
to non-profits.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's also why you want to go and volunteer. I'm also a volunteer at the festival, and I don't want to go work for a commercial company, but I want to help getting these money together so we can hand them out to all these volunteers club and help support them get all their things.
And
you have a system?
And it's
NGOs.
NGOs, yes, yeah.
Yeah,
all the other associations.
It's voluntary
have to apply
associations.
every year.
And actually,
But
it's
you have to have a system
Works
for
like a
this.
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, at the end of the line, it's our tax system that has to approve that it's okay for the club to get the money.
So you have
It's very controlled.
Very controlled.
I think it's and also if you go to sports, very much association based. Sometimes the internationals that come in and talk to me, they're like, "Oh, 10 colleagues and I would like to play basketball. We can't get time at the court." No, because it's taken by the associations that play basketball. So you have to
You
be.
have to be a member there.
And I think people are like, why? But then when they realize the culture in it, I think also to meet Danes, it's a good thing. Smaller villages, like you said, choosing this place, that's what I always say to people when they come. If you're willing to live in a smaller place, you get to know your neighbors faster. Vejle is too big for that. And again, join an association. Find something where you can both practice your so not something where you have to be quiet. Find something where interact with people and talk, and then you can practice your Danish. You can get a Danish friend.
So you have to be proactive. That's the message. So it's not just happening.
But you have to
make
come.
the steps.
You have to come and settle down soon because Jelling is growing fast.
Actually,
Yeah, well,
I'm
it is.
undecided
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm
Well,
hesitating between Vejle. I learned so many good things about Vejle. So I don't know if I will move to Vejle or Jelling.
well, you should come here.
My selling
In
point
fact-
is that Vejle is just 15 minutes away by car. If you go by bus, might be a difference.
It's like a suburb.
Yeah, don't think the day to day, but
Also,
But Jelling
another-
is in fact kind of a suburb to Vejle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Although we think that Vejle is a suburb to Jelling, of course.
Some of us.
I assume that
But
I assume
You don't want to point to
yeah,
that.
we have a train station down here, and you can go on certain departs. You can go and sit down in the train, and then you can get off at the main train station in Copenhagen 2.5 hours later. And you don't have to shift from any lines or anything.
So I
So
that's
it's-
very rare in the small places that you don't have to switch train. There's actually a train from where does it start?
Struer.
Struer, yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes all the way
It's
from
one of
Struer
the
to Copenhagen.
main lines.
Yeah.
Railway
It might
lines.
be because one of the politicians that used to have a lot of power, he lives
Lives
there,
there,
but that's
but
a
not
minor
no.
detail.
No.
The fact
No,
that
no,
you get
no.
on a train in a
It's a-
smaller
it's a-
place and go all the way to
It's
Copenhagen,
no
I think that's
whole other
impressive.
story why there's a station in Jelling.
Not the station that the train goes all the way.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you think
but
that's the Thule effect?
No. It's not that. It's much earlier because out by a town called Herning, they were digging turf or something. Hvad hedder det der? Brunkul. Hvad hedder det? Brown coal, like something. And there was a big excavation, and they had to get it out from there. So they, and they were digging turf here in Jelling. So that's why they put a station here, so you could get the turf.
So listen, I will listen to the people in Odense tonight, and then I will make my decision. That
You'll go to
Yeah.
Odense.
I can tell it's hard because I lived in Odense for 7
Oh,
years
yeah.
and had to make a really hard decision. So
Okay.
I feel at home.
But I will inform you.
Yeah.
But
Still
living
at
in
home,
this
yeah.
area,
To defend this area in the Viking times, you would approximately need 10,000 people. And getting 10,000 people in the Viking times is more or less impossible. So he built this to see how powerful I am, see how mighty my empire is. And this is where the Jelling dynasty was created, which we say that our current royal family can mark all their family line down to this dynasty. So that is when we say the birthplace of Denmark. That's why we say it is here. This is here the monarchy is born. This is here the dynasty started.
Yeah, Jelling dynasty. Yeah. That's true.
So this has just been finished. The whole thing around. But if some of you want to go on top of the hill, you can kind of see it. But it kind of makes the whole city here.
But that was a burial
When we go in over
or
here,
what was it?
if we go in over there, we can actually see a small model of the place.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So my colleague
But
already
just
put you guys
to
on
remember,
LinkedIn.
like these two hills here are memorial hills, so grave hills.
Very good. Okay, let's go find something there.
There used to be, but unfortunately, the scientists, the archaeologists came a few hundred years too late. So somebody was already in the chamber that we found and took some very important things in there, like most likely what would reveal more about their traditions at that time. So the grave chamber was actually robbed before we had the chance to find it.
There is two burial monuments.
Yeah.
And one is mounds. Yeah, one was built for the queen, the wife of. Yeah. And of course, the church came a bit later.
Yeah. But it's det Gorm, det Sydhøjen, det Gorm, og det Djursøj, det Nord. Yeah. But I think we should go to the stone now. That's what we're all eager for, and then we can. But I can tell you that. Okay, so I'll just go to the stone. Because what we want to know is what is in there.
Du kender pludselig på en ret, så er der masser af tid.
They actually used to be out in the street until 15 years ago, but then somebody that was mentally retarded put graffiti on the stone, and that's like the warning sign, but now we are in times where we can't let these stones just stand out in the open air. Yes,
that we found back in Jelling.
Yeah, so the things you saw in Violet were quotations
from the rune.
From the Yelling stone, like the big stone here. And what you can say is that we have a Harald stone here commemorating himself as being the first king of Denmark and Norway. It's the first mentioning of Denmark. Here you have Gorm's stone over here. That's the father. And with Harald Bluetooth, we also got Christianity. Like Christianity became state religion during Harald Bluetooth. Because of him, thanks to him, we would say today. But
it's if I can supplement that story, because he has spent his whole life fighting against the Roman Empire in Germany, just south here. So he was kind of trying to keep the Christians away. Like Christianity came to England much earlier, and here he kind of wanted to keep the old pagan and the Norse god and so on alive. But he also knew that if he did not change by like converted voluntarily, he will be forced to. So he rather want to be the stay in power and be the king that actually took the credit. So that's why he put a stone here with the big G. On the other side is the Jesus on the cross, which so he kind of make it official, so he can. So the Pope.
And now you wonder, where is Jesus?
Everybody can see.
And I of course knew you couldn't see him because he's long gone. But for your convenience, I brought a picture of how it does look. So you can see Jesus here. You have what is believed to be the wolf, and you have the inscription here on the left side. So if you want to see, this is the first depiction we have of Christ.
Can I take a picture?
As interpreted in a Viking context, and this transition from Viking belief, Nordic mythology to Christianity was 200 years. So we have a lot of examples in our art from this period where we have a beautiful mixture of Viking art and Christianity, and that's only to be found here in Denmark. So that's quite unique. And if you look at it, if you notice this one, where the word is written is called this was the way of writing in ancient times. So you would write this way instead of left to right. That comes with Christianity. And what we just observed here is the first sign of Christianity in Denmark is not just Jesus. It is actually